Talk.
Okay, now it's on. Thank you. Hi everybody, and thanks for coming. This is my informative speech for speech class. I'd like to thank you guys all for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend my speech. Today I'm going to talk about pioneer history and American medicine. Basically, I'm going to tell you about some of the ailments that pioneers faced when they moved to the Wild West in 1862 after the Homestead Proclamation was signed. I'm going to tell about some of the illnesses, the remedies, and just basically some of the characters that helped make people survive back then. The first group I want to talk about are women. Women played a really crucial role in healthcare on the frontier. They were basically the only thing that they had. They were very isolated. When they moved out there, they had to bring their own remedies with them, and they brought receipts, which we now call recipes. These were herbal concoctions that they would mix up. A lot of things didn't work, and they were a little goofy. Some of them involved whiskey, some of them involved opium, some of them involved rusty nails. But it wasn't so much that they cured the disease, it's more like they managed the symptoms. One of the ways that they also managed the symptoms was with bed rest and just basically mother's comfort, which goes a long way, as we know, even in the world today. So when they moved out to the Wild West, one of the things that they had going for them was that they had isolation. They weren't getting the diseases that people were getting back east because they were isolated from society. Kind of like today, we are not getting as much swine flu as other people because we have less people to deal with when we're isolated. Even so, they still faced death, and a lot of children died, so that was a bad hardship that they had on the frontier. Some of the other things that they suffered from was diphtheria, smallpox, cholera, whooping cough, and scarlet fever. And basically the remedies that they used, like I said, was just bed rest, a mother's comfort, and praying. They relied a lot on faith. And so what were the remedies? I'm going to talk a little bit about those. Castor oil was considered a cure-all. Everybody knows what castor oil is, right?
Yeah.
It's basically a laxative. It pretty much left them dehydrated and weak, so by the time they were done, they might feel a little bit better and maybe they were cleaned out, but it didn't really help matters. Another thing that they used, like I said, was whiskey. And it's kind of ironic because pioneer women didn't like alcohol. They thought it was just an evil thing, and they actually used it in a lot of their remedies. So I'm also going to show you guys a chart here of some of the other home remedies they used, and I'll let you guys look at those. A couple of the things that stand out to me: tonic made from half a bucket of rusty nails soaked in vinegar as a blood purifier. That would be yummy, huh? Brandy and red pepper for cholera. Fried heart of a rattlesnake or skunk meat for consumption. And they also had some superstitions, like carrying an onion in their pocket would prevent smallpox. I don't know how that worked for them, but I'm guessing not very well. They boiled toads for heart disease or dropsy. And the one that I think is really gross is warm brains of freshly killed rabbit applied to a baby's gooms for teething. And hot chicken blood for shingles. So imagine you're an adult and you have chicken pox and they're putting warm chicken blood on you. So that is some of the home remedies that they use. And like I said, a lot of it probably didn't help, but with the mother's care, they made it through somehow. So the other thing that they had were faith healers and quackery that went. The faith healers would walk through town and they would put on a medicine show. The medicine show basically consisted of a play that was meant to entertain people. And during the commercials, as we would call them, it was just like if you were watching a TV show, an announcer would sit and talk about the cures that he had and how they would help. And little boys or whoever would walk up and down the aisles and sell these. Some of these things contained opium. Some of them contained cocaine, like Coca-Cola. That can, what's that? That, yeah. One of the things was a medicine. Lanolin. A medicine that was designed to keep husbands from going out and drinking at night. The wives didn't want their men going to the saloon. So one of the things they did was gave them a pill that contained opium. So I guess they were trading one for the other. But anyways, they usually charged a large fee and they didn't really help matters. Pioneers already knew to rely on faith to heal, so it was probably best that they just kept with what they were doing. The other group of people that I want to talk about are doctors. Doctors were rarely called unless it was absolutely unavoidable, and that was because of the expense, the distance, and a lot of people died waiting for a doctor. So that was just the sad truth, especially if they had gallbladder problems, appendicitis, or a traumatic injury. So most doctors weren't interested in settling down in a rural area, so they were quite far away, and it took the time of the person going from their house to come get them and the doctors to come back. Pioneers had to be really careful of which doctors they chose because there was a time in the late 1800s when they got their diplomas from diploma mills. They were able to send in $5 or $10 and get a diploma with a gold stamp, and that just depended. $10 you'd get nicer paper, $5 you'd get not so nice paper. So they were basically able to buy their diplomas. So they had to be really careful. And doctors also, their only method of treating was basically house calls. There were no hospitals back then. So they would go in and they'd see patients, and sometimes it would take hours, sometimes it would take days, just depending on the situation. As far as childbirth, those things were rarely spoken of. People just said that they were in confinement at that point in time. So I didn't find a lot of research on that, just basically the fact that most pioneer women helped the other pioneer women have their babies, and that was about it. So basically that's about all I have to say. I just wanted to tell you about a little bit about American history and pioneer medicine. I think it's really interesting how they came out and they didn't have very much money. They came out and tried to win the bet with Uncle Sam and tried to win their homestead. And they brought all their things with them from the east and basically survived despite a lot of hard times. Thank you.
Thank you.